Well, hello friends, Rick Bray with the Plick team at Broomtown Gaposies, and in this video we're going to take a look at how you can create an assignment with eDoctrina. Now, I'm at my landing page here. Yours may look different depending on which district you're in, which buttons they have, but whether it's up top and you find assessments or whether there's a button that says assessments, I'm going to click on that first. Here you will see all the different assessments that are in your specific district. In this case, I'm looking at Windsor, so we can see some information there, but hopefully I have grayed that out. What we want to do to create an assessment is, yep, you guessed it, we want to click that yellow button in the top left-hand corner with the plus symbol that says Create. So I'll click that now. And I have to fill in any of the fields, any of the text entry points that have a red asterisk with them. So that would be the name of the assessment. The date isn't critical. It's really just the date that I made it. What grade level this applies to, what subject this applies to, and what type of assessment it is. You can see we have all these different kinds. I can tell you that teacher, for the most part, is just fine. So if you give me a second, let me flash forward to once we've filled all that information in. Now, really what these things do when we fill them in is that they help us with finding the assessment later in terms of filters. We're going to look at other ways on how to do that. However, if you want to have multiple grades that are associated, that's possible to do. Just click and select the other grade. You'll notice that 6 is not an option because it's already selected, but I can say this would be a 6, 7, and 8th grade assessment if that's what I wanted. The next step is to select which type of assessment you want to build. Now, answer keys work if you have a paper-based test and you just want your students to bubble in an answer sheet. Building questions is where you can actually go in and create your own questions or select them from a question bank. And building a rubric is really helpful when, well, you want a rubric. For this case, we're going to go with build questions. What we'll see later on is build questions and answer key only. Really, the only difference between those two is if you write the question. And that has some advantages later on. So I'm going to select build questions. And now I have to select, do I want to build my own questions or do I want to use a question bank? Now in a later video, we'll see how to access question banks, but you could do that now if you wanted. I'm just going to select, you know what? I want to build my own questions to start. So I'll click that options. How many questions do I want to add? You can add as many as you want right now, but you're going to be confined to a specific type of question. If like a letter choice, multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, anything that's going to be a essay or short answer type thing, that'll be a teacher scored question. But what if I want 3 questions of one type and 3 of another? You'll just add one type now, and then you can add the other type later on in the assessment, or you can add them and change the type. So for right now, I'm just going to add 5 questions. I'll have them be A, B, C, D, multiple choice. I'd like 4 choices, so that means A, B, C, and D. The default answer is going to be A for right now. I could make it B, C, or D. And what's the maximum number of points? Well, it's 1 point per question. And I'm going to say create it. And that will take us to the creation of the assessment. What's important to note here is this number. In my case, 1295728. That's my assessment number. Makes it really, really easy to find assessments later on if you know their number. You'll notice across the top, there's a bunch of different tabs that we'll get into in a later video, but the General tab, that's all the information that we filled in when we made it. The Questions tab, well, that's where my questions are, and I can view it as just the answer key. The Questions, where I can select the answer key here on the right. A rubric, if applicable, and just a list of the questions. I like to roll with this question choice here. To add text in, I simply click on the button and I type in my question. You'll notice that I can insert pictures. I can insert some video. I can do all sorts of stuff here if I want. And in my choices, I can also do that. I can type in my answer choice. I can also upload an image, which means my choices can be images if I wanted. Simply check the box for the correct answer over here, and you'll notice that I can also select the right answer here, right? Either way works for you. And that question is all set to go. Now, if I wanted to with question 2, I could change it to a different type of question if I wanted. But maybe I want, like I said, 5 multiple choice questions, and then I want to add some teacher scored questions. How do I do that? Well, click the plus question button. And when I do that, I get a really similar screen, right? I can add 2 questions. Let's have them be teacher scored with 1 point each. Add. And those go to the bottom of my assessment. So that is how I can create an assessment and add questions to it. From here, I could save and close, but now I can find that assessment. And later on, we'll look at some more features within here, but when I'm ready, I can assign that assessment to my students. Hopefully you found this video helpful on how to create eDoctrina assessments. And as always, thanks for watching.